guys and gals, thanks for joining me. I'm Scotty D, and this is a Ibanez RX20 made in Indonesia, and it's missing the tremolo arm. So I'm glad you found me, because I'm going to show you what to do to figure out how to find the right one and what not to do. But this has been happening for years. People have been bringing their guitars in, and I'll be like, "Where's your tremolo arm?" And they'll be like, "What's that?" No, you know, your wiggle stick. And they're like, "Oh, I don't know, I lost it." So I offer to find them one, but it can be hard. So let's take a look at how. Alright, so you see there's different thread patterns and different thread sizes. There's metric and there's imperial. And what you don't want to do is stick the wrong size down in there and start screwing it in and cross thread it and mangle the threads. So let's take we'll take a look here at these threads. They look pretty wide, like spaced out pretty far apart, which gives me a hint that they're imperial size. Let me grab my thread finder. Actually, a lot of times what I do is I come over to my faithful Stratocaster that I've had for more than 30 years now. This is made in Mexico, but a lot of times, if I recall, the parts are American threaded parts. What I'm saying is they're not metric. Let's see if this threads in. Doesn't feel good in the first place. It just doesn't seem like it's going to thread in, but you know what? It does. We also have these types of things where you can see how many threads per inch or threads per centimeter, I guess. They come in metric and imperial. They're thread finders. And then there's this thing, which I got from Stuart McDonald, which finds basically every possible combination of thread size. And when I come over here to M5, metric 5 millimeters, 0.8 thread, it threads right in. Doesn't look like it will, but it does. Another good way to make sure you don't cross thread your components is to go, when you first start out, go backwards until it clicks in, and then go forwards or clockwise. So go counterclockwise at first till you hear it click, and then you can thread it in the rest of the way. So this is probably the most common size, M5-0.8, and I went on Amazon to look to see what is available. It looks like they're selling them a lot of times 6 and 5 millimeter combination, 2-pack. There's a 6 millimeter, so I don't want to order that one. And then you just have to decide whether you want chrome, black, or gold, and what colored tip you want on it. So for $6, you can get the 3-piece of black ones, 5 millimeter thread. Now there's 1032. That's the imperial size. 1032. There's 1024, 1032 right here. It's very similar to the 5 mil. It looks like it's a little smaller. Well, this guitar needs a whole bunch more work than just the tremolo. Its electronics sound like Crispies. It's really, really scratchy, and it's cutting out. The volume pot has the tone knob on it, and the tone pot has the volume knob on it. So I gotta get those babies off. I'll peel off this pick guard, and we'll get some cleaning action going underneath the pickguard, we'll get this deoxit right down into those pots. So besides the electronics being messed up, there's a major setup issue with this guitar. There should be a little bit of relief in the center of the neck, anyways, between the 12th fret and the 1st fret. There should be about 7 thousandths of an inch, but what I've got here is a 20 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge, and it goes right between. So it has 3 times the amount of relief that it should. And so we need to tighten the truss rod to bring the neck back straight, or a little straighter than it is right now, so that we can lower this action down here at the bridge. Now let's look at the bridge saddles. They're all messed up too. So the bridge and the saddles, they don't look all messed up like at first glance, but when I zoom in, you'll see here that the saddle adjustment screws are poking out above the saddles like a 1/4 of an inch. It's ridiculous. Like, you don't want that. You don't want the saddle decked all the way down to the bridge plate. When you rest your hand down here, these screws poke you, and it's very uncomfortable to play a guitar where you're getting poked constantly. So we want to bring all these saddles, these are the cast chrome plated pieces, up where the adjustment screws are more level with the tops of these saddles. And these screws will be flush at the top. And then once we get there, instead of having super high action, what we'll do is we'll shim the neck. So shimming the neck means putting a wedged shape piece into the neck pocket. In between the neck and the body, there will be a piece, a wedge, that'll kick the neck back this way, lowering the action here at the 12th fret. Right now it's sky high, and I haven't even raised the saddles yet to get those screws flush with the tops. So we've got a bunch of things to do here. We'll straighten the neck first with the truss rod adjustment. We will raise the saddles with the saddle adjustment screws, and then we'll figure out how many shims to put in here to make it play good. But first we'll clean the electronics. This is the Deoxit D5. I use this stuff practically every day. I'm going to try to get it in right down in here to the tone pot. You can see that it's rotating here. That needs tightened. We're going to take these knobs off anyways to swap them. Remember, he's got the tone where the volume goes and the volume where the tone goes. So let's give him a quick clean, and then we'll pull the knobs, tighten it up. Guitar's a mess. All right, sometimes you can get in there with a towel or a rag or a t-shirt, some kind of material, get a little leverage on these knobs. I like to come in with an object of some sort and start prying it up, and then swivel, pry, swivel, just go back and forth a few times and get it to where I can get this tool under it. It's a little wrench. Oh, bitch. Doesn't help that the pots are completely loose. There. Let me get the wrench. Okay, this is the tone, and this is the volume. Let's get it straight, dude. Tone, volume. Give it another test. Perfect. It was just dirty, so, like I thought. Next, we'll do the truss rod. Okay, so we've got full string tension. Do not tighten an old rusty truss rod with full tension on the strings. You could break it. You could strip it. It's just not going to do what you want it to do. By the way, the truss rod is not meant to straighten the neck. It's meant to hold the neck. So we have to get the neck straight first before we turn this thing. And we should probably loosen it a little bit counterclockwise before we go clockwise with it. Let's figure out what size it is. We'll loosen the strings completely. And we'll check if there's relief in the neck without string tension before we decide to put a wrench in there. Better to be safe than sorry, and better to have a great outcome rather than a shitty outcome. Alright, so earlier I took a measurement of 20 thousandths of an inch relief in the middle. Right now, with strings slacked, I have 4 thousandths of an inch. So this neck has almost entirely straightened itself out just by taking off the string tension. And by the looks of this, to me, it's 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters. So I don't want to go clockwise, I want to go counter just to get a feel for its functionality, and it feels great. It feels like it's working really good. I'm going to go from like 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And then retighten the strings and see what kind of relief we get. Better to do it a couple times. You know, I may even just give it one more little crank here. And this is going to change the relief, and it's also probably going to make the action go down a little bit too. Well, let's tighten them back up and find out. Okay, back up to pitch. Coming over here to see a 5 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge goes through with ease, but a 10 thou doesn't quite go. So I think we're around 7 thousandths. We're in the ballpark. Good enough to start adjusting saddles. Before adjusting the saddles, I rechecked the string action at the 12th fret, and it went down a 64th of an inch. Sometimes before I start adjusting saddles, I might want to spray a little lubricant on the threads. I'm not even going to be able to get a wrench in here due to this schmutz that's down in these holes. So I'm going in with a clothespin, a needle. See if we can get that crap out of there. Now that crap is likely it's like dead skin cells, so water is the best bet, soapy water, to loosen that up. It's not so bad on the A and D string. It's just mostly here on this low E string. This simple green stuff is just a detergent. soapy water basically. Let that soak in. While that's soaking in, I'm going to add a little bit of this lubrication. It's a pinpoint lubricator, also from Stuart McDonald. And I'll put a little bit on each thread, and then I'll go grab a cup of coffee and give it a while for that simple green to soak in. And we'll see if we can turn these babies, clean it out. You can almost start to hear when it's starting to loosen up. At first you couldn't hear any metal on metal sounds, and now I'm kind of hearing. Now on this one, we got a long way to go with this one. This is some serious schmutz. And I haven't even grabbed the coffee yet, it's just been a couple seconds. But I think I'll add a little more of the detergent. And I'm going to take a very small hex wrench, smaller than the size that it takes to turn the actual screw, and start getting it clean. Now the guitar's still up to full string tension, and these can't be turned under tension. Have to loosen the strings again, or we'll strip these. And once they're stripped, you have to replace them, and it'd be very hard to find the right screws. So let's just try to preserve this guitar the way it is, the way it came from the factory, instead of stripping it all out and screwing it up. I gotta find the right size, and I'm gonna loosen the strings. Every string gets all the way loose. Alright, I think I found the right size. 1.5 millimeter. Yep. So it's 1.5 millimeter for this particular guitar. And this is a little tool set I got from Music City Bridge here in Nashville. You can get this tool online. Just go to musiccitybridge.com. A little more naphtha over here. Naphtha is good right at the end here because it's kind of a lubricant and a cleaner, and it'll help evaporate all that water-based cleaner that I used earlier. Realize the pickups are way too low, so we'll need to raise these up. And I noticed the string action is going to be sky high, so we may as well go in there with taking the neck off and putting in the biggest shim, which is a 1 millimeter shim. What in the hell is going on with these? I think the springs are like super high tension or something. Alright, this might take me a while to get these pickups up. Let's go to taking the neck off these 4 screws. Alright, I got the neck off while the strings are still slack, and look at that, December of 1996, and the body neck pocket says February of 97. This here is the 1 degree shim. It's the biggest shim. It'll give us the biggest change in pitch for the neck, and gosh darn it, it's a little bit oversized, so I'm gonna have to trim it a little bit. I just need to take a little bit off these corners here to get it to fit in there right. The neck pocket's a little more round than this here. Nice fit there. The shim's hanging out just slightly. Might not be done with the shim though. Have to test it out first. Yeah, this is just guesswork on the shimmage. Let's see what happens. The action's too low with a 1 degree shim. Yep, gonna have to go down to a 1/2 degree shim. Take the neck off again. Might have to take the neck on and off a few times. Kind of how it goes. Alright, I'm getting ready to put on some 9 through 46 strings. I had a little issue raising the pickup heights. Couldn't get them to go. The paint, or powder coating on the black over the chrome, man, is so thick that it wouldn't go, so I had to use these. I was stripping out the head, so I had to use these special pliers that grab onto the head of the screw to turn them down and get them up. Now I think we're going to be in business. Let me get these strings on here. So as it turns out, this arm from my Strat, my Mexican Strat, it is 1032 thread, which is an imperial size. It kind of threads into the Ibanez, but it's not perfect. Let's take a look at that metric stuff again. So there's the imperial sized from the fender. These are the 2 metric ones that I had out earlier, and you can see it does fit on the gold one, but on the chrome one it fits. They both fit. 32 threads per inch, and the diameter here on the gold is 4.9 millimeters. See, the red right there would be 5 millimeters. It's 4.9. The chrome one, 4.6. And the chrome one does not fit in the Ibanez very good. It doesn't thread in at all. So I ordered some new chrome ones, 4.8 millimeters. So the gold's the only one that really fits in the Ibanez. And they call it a M5.08. Must be 32 threads. So it kind of crosses over between metric and imperial. It works on both. Let's put it in the Ibanez and see how she works. So here's the chrome. Goes right in, doesn't even thread. But the gold, it does thread. Just a couple tenths of a millimeter difference and it works. So there's a lot of variations on the stuff that you get out of Amazon and eBay.
So it's best just to have a few of them around, just in case. So the setup worked out really good on this one. I got it down to 4/64 here at the 12th fret with 7/1000ths of an inch relief in the neck. So thanks for tuning in and hanging out to the end. Good luck with your tremolos. Hope to see you next time. Catch you later.